bringing a unique and revolutionary technique to barbecue. Shani Alabi Asama proves that blending traditional Southern barbecue with worldwide spices is a winning formula. This is Tales from the Pit. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
So, not a kind of normal story for South Georgia. So, how'd you get here, and who are you?
So, I went to school, college at Georgia Southern University, and after school, stuck around. It's the smallest town I'd ever lived in. You know, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, lived in London, New York, Atlanta, Houston, all over the place. And just kind of enjoyed the pace of small town sort of Southern life. And during my time here, I've done quite a few things. But before the restaurants, I was a computer guy. I was the guy you call to fix your blue screen or reload your operating system or install your new CD, DVD burner and all that kind of stuff way back when.
Okay, so
and then I found my way into restaurants.
Okay, and how was that? What was the light bulb moment? What was that moment to go from computers to restaurants?
You know, I'd cooked my whole life since I was 8 years old. I mean, I'd help my mom and grandma in the kitchen. You know, I'd peel shrimp and pick crabs and chop vegetables and things like that. So I've always enjoyed being in kitchens. You know, I'd feed all my friends that would come hang out at the house, and everyone would say things like, "Oh man, you're gonna be a chef one day. You should open a restaurant." And I always thought that was lunacy. I was like, why would someone pay money to eat food I made? I mean, I just never thought that what I was doing was all that interesting. And after, you know, getting a bit older, eating in restaurants and being invited to dinners, I realized that the things that I did held merit. I mean, they were really good. I still didn't particularly think people would be interested in like eating with me as like, I just had a hard time seeing people getting up off their couch or leaving work and saying, "Hey, I'm going to go eat at, you know, whatever place Shani's cooking at." And I was like, I just didn't really see it. And then after enough sort of less than fantastic and less than satisfactory dinner experiences, I said, you know what? I can either keep complaining about this or I can do something about it. So I went home and I talked to my wife and I said, well, listen, we can either sell the house and move, or we can open a restaurant. Probably should have sold the house. But we got into the restaurant business, and it's been a ride ever since.
So what are the meats that you serve here?
Okay, so we do briskets, pork butts, full spare ribs, not baby backs, and not St. Louis cuts. We started with the St. Louis cuts where they were sort of trimmed and even, but discovered that a lot of people like that sort of uneven spare rib where they can get that tip of the rib, and you know, it cooks in a different way than the center cut part of the rib, and it's something that people tend to enjoy. So we went to those, and I can tell you this, we move a ton of ribs. We do smoked chicken wings. We do smoked turkey breasts, which we cook. All our poultry gets brined. We have a simple brine solution. So if we're doing turkeys, wings, half chickens, jerk chickens, fried chicken, anything that is a bird goes into a brine for at least 24 hours, but up to 48 hours to ensure that it's well seasoned, fully hydrated, and it's almost insurance against drying things out, because if there's one thing in barbecue that's easy to dry out, it's the chicken. So we pride ourselves on keeping really juicy chicken and turkey and making really tasty wings.
Okay. So you have a brine for the poultry. Do you do a dry rub on the other meats?
We do. We have a house rub. It's pretty intense. There's about 17 or so ingredients in it. Some of the usual suspects, the brown sugar, the garlic and onion and things of that nature. But then we get into some spices and some blends that really bring sort of a unique taste to what it is that we do.
And where would you attribute that coming from? I mean, you don't have to tell me what the mixture is, but just like, where did you come up with the idea? Like, does that come from other places?
Well, yeah. I mean, my mom was born in Trinidad, and like I said, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. So we have a very eclectic food background in my family. We've become very comfortable in the use of spices from all different backgrounds and cultures. So when it comes time to make something like a rub for meats, I try to think in terms of tradition, but also my tradition and my background. We don't shy away from things like cumin or coriander or fennel or caraway seeds and things like that you might not necessarily find in, your standard sort of southern fare barbecue joints. But we do them in a way that it's subtle, and it's that little thing in the background, and you're not really sure what that is, but you like it. So.
Okay. And on the backside, do you have sauces here, special sauce?
Our sauces are fun. We have a sauce that we call our sweet tea barbecue sauce. It started in 2012 as a sauce that I was using for cornmeal fried shrimp in the first restaurant. And we called it a sweet tea aioli. I would make this base that was very barbecue centric in its ingredients, but instead of using like a tomato base or mustard base or vinegar base, we used sweet tea. And the reason for that was the acid, the tannic acid in tea, played as a good foil to fatty fried things. So when it came time to do an actual barbecue concept, we went ahead and fleshed out that sweet tea barbecue sauce into a full-on barbecue sauce, like a finished sauce. That sauce then became the sweet tea aioli that we use here on things like our loaded fries and fried green tomatoes. But we also took that sauce in more traditional directions. In fact, in the beginning, when we first opened, we only had our sweet tea barbecue sauce on the table. And people kept asking, "Man, you guys have some more sauces?" So they wanted variety. I said, "Man, I've been working on this sauce all these years, bringing you something different." But you know what? In restaurants, you got to pick your battles. Barbecue has some very, very established traditions. So people will look for vinegar base, they will look for tomato base, and they will look for mustard base, without a doubt. So we took our sweet tea barbecue sauce, we pulled it off the table, and we made it into two different sauces, but all from that same base. So when you taste our sauces, you'll taste one that has vinegar and chilies that are visible in the sauce. It's a bit sweet, it's a bit spicy. It touches all parts of your palate. And then you'll find another one that we use mustard and brown sugar. That's more traditional and what you find regionally around here. But again, they all have that background of our sweet tea barbecue sauce, and they've been an absolute hit. So I'm pretty excited about the way they've been received.
That leads me to your ingredients. Where do you get your meat from? Where do you get your produce from?
There's a little meat market in town called Ellis Meats, and Kimball and Angie at Ellis have taken very, very good care of us. I'd venture to say that if it wasn't for them, I don't even know that we would have made it. You know, they do an excellent job of sourcing really, really good meat, and they're a huge part of the reason we are as consistent as we are.
Okay.
Produce, you know, again, we have access to local growers of various things. I get my lettuce from Lisa at Fish Heads. She does an excellent job with an aquaponic lettuce operation in Burke County, and she comes in every Thursday and brings me some good stuff. Our cornmeal comes from Mr. Stacy Freeman out there at Freeman's Mill. He's got a almost Civil War era mill at his property, and he grinds some beautiful cornmeal and grits for the community. And I've used this stuff since day one in the restaurant business. You have Southern Swiss Dairy that produce phenomenal milk and cream and buttermilk. Mr. Jimmy Franks and family do a great job there. You have Hunter Cattle, which produce beautiful grass-fed beef right down Highway 80. So we get quite a bit of support from our local agricultural community.
Do you think that plays into being having this local quality stuff being the reason of you being successful? And
I'd like to think it contributes, if for no other reason. I mean, you want to support your local, producers of food. Like you said, with what was going on with COVID, I mean, it wasn't the big monoculture meat producers and produce growers that kept us rolling. It was these local guys.
You feel like a great food ambassador. Do you feel like, as like a kind of a food culture ambassador, do you feel that you are to this community?
I don't know, man. Look, food for me is a language. I can communicate in food. I taste things in my head. So if I think about an ingredient, say fennel, I get that anise fennel finish on my tongue physically. And that's the way that I like to come up with recipes. And when I do these things and people experience them, a lot of times I get this question, they go, well, how did you come up with that? Like, I would have never put this thing and that thing together. And it's the way I communicate with them what's going on in my head. So I don't know if that makes me a food ambassador. I just really enjoy feeding people, and I really enjoy new and unique food experiences. And I want to share those things with as many people as possible.
Okay. Why should someone come check out this place?
Any restaurant that I'm ever involved with, I will always make sure we do our best to, number one, treat you well, feed you great food, and make you feel like old friends, like you've been here a million times. That's becoming more and more of a rare thing. I feel like it's going to be a unique experience. It's like a lot of time when people come in, they'll say, like, what should I try? What's your best thing? I say, you know what? What I like to tell people is, with barbecue especially, you kind of know what you want before you come in the door. Everybody has like their routine when they go to the barbecue joint. So do this. Order the thing that you most often order. It's going to be a different experience than what you're used to. And then order something you would never order and see how that works out for you. And almost always, people are pleasantly surprised and very happy.
If you had to characterize Georgia BBQ, how would you characterize it?
All right, so what I've noticed consistently with what you call Georgia BBQ, a fairly light smoke, oak, pecan, some hickory. Every now and then you'll find someone that accents with a fruit wood, usually peach. They tend to have lighter seasonings in their rubs, you know, not overly sweet, not overly salty. I've noticed the affinity towards the Brunswick stew and potato salad combination. I find that to be exceedingly classic in Georgia barbecue. If you cross that border from Augusta into South Carolina, that becomes hash, where, you know, you'll see, you know, the hash presented on rice. But with Georgia, it's the Brunswick stew, the potato salad, and the pork butts. That's what you see in the modern sense. You know, years ago it would have been whole hog barbecue, where you would have all the different, you know, cuts of meat off that pig sort of combined and have the skin aspect of it and things of that nature. You don't see that as often anymore, but those tend to be the classic combinations with the sweet tea, the white bread, and banana pudding. That's like your barbecue experience on a plate. That's like Georgia on your plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us here
Thanks for
and talking
coming.
to us.
Absolutely.
We're going to go inside and take a look at the kitchen and see what they're doing in there.
It's like a little sweet, a little tangy,
Yeah.
fluffy, soft. Yeah. I think that works.
No, it's great. I can see why it would be good as a side. I mean, just,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you could probably put a scoop of ice cream on that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Put some
Yeah.
fruit with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good stuff.
So we're back. We've seen how some of this is made, and now we're going to enjoy this delicious food. So what is it that we have here?
All right, so this is sort of a spread of most of what we do here. I mean, you know, we'll start with over here with the sides of our crispy Brussels sprouts, our coleslaw, our potato salad, some fried green tomatoes, some of our sweet tea aioli. We have the meats over here. We have some chopped pork, looks like some lean brisket there, some smoked turkey, some of our smoked crispy wings. We have a beautiful example of our loaded waffle fries, and then some baked beans, our vegetable ratatouille, mac and cheese, Brunswick stew, collard greens. So a lot of the good stuff.
Okay. Where should we start?
Check out the old Southern staple here, the fried green tomato, which is, I'm not gonna lie, they're not a thing that I am tremendously fond of,
Yeah.
but I cannot deny their popularity. I think we do a pretty good job with it.
Oh man. Yikes.
Oh. I mean, I get it. I mean, it is the South. You bread it, you fry it, it's good.
That is good.
And I think that sauce gives a really nice.
It really complements it.
Layer of flavor. All right, so let's get into the meat here. And let's just try a wing. Let's do some pork and chicken.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a flat. I'm gonna take it. These are special.
Oh wow. Really moist.
Oh yeah. That's definitely the brine at play.
Nice texture on the outside as well.
Smoky, crispy. That rub showing up again.
Oh, it's really tender.
The turkey, I think, is one of the biggest sleepers on the menu.
Oh, that's moist.
Very much so. Let's try a little brisket here. Now, they went with the leaner part. I'm a fan of the fattier brisket, but this darker of the two is the one that I really, really like with the brisket.
Okay. And the darker one is the chili one? Oh yeah, that really I mean, the brisket is delicious by itself, but and it just like wakes up the flavor.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, the other one, you want to try a little bit of pork in that, and the poultry. That one's really good.
Yeah, both of those are really good. I mean, just amazing sauces.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We put a lot of work in those sauces. Now, interestingly enough, there's a whole nother sauce. That's this one that goes on the loaded fries. And these things are unbelievably popular. And there's no neat, way to do this. You just kind of find yourself a vessel and get after it.
That's just good. I mean, it's just. It has all those unique flavors in it, and they blend together so well.
Yeah. I mean, the freshness in that guac is just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of these guys over here. Some good old collard greens.
Another Southern tradition.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what's in the collard greens?
You know, we make a really nice pot liquor with ham hocks and onions and garlic and a little red wine vinegar, some bacon, a little butter and brown sugar, touch of nutmeg, fresh ground nutmeg, because I like nutmeg on dark greens. And last but not least, the Brunswick stew. Again, vegetables, some pulled pork, some chicken, a nice little vinegary kick, a little sweetness. If you can't find something here you enjoy,
I don't know what to tell you, man. Like all of this is just delicious. Like this is there's not one bad thing on here.
That means a lot. It's to me this is like when you're inviting somebody over to eat some barbecue and you can present them with a bounty like this. I think they would definitely appreciate it. Oh, the pickles.
Oh yeah.
Well, homemade pickles. They're not overly sweet. Tangy. It's a good place to escape to if you get like a lot of richness happening on the palate.
Right.
Jump right into that.
Yeah. Is that why they put pickles? Is that?
I mean, I think so. I mean, the process of pickling, of course, is about, you know, sustaining a food source that might be abundant in one season, but, you know, you'd like to have it later on in the year when food might be a bit more scarce. So as a storage method, pickling is always, you know, pre-refrigeration days important.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's just, I mean, it was somewhere that I heard that they use pickles with barbecue because it helps cut the oil, like it's a digestive aid.
Yeah, anything with that vinegary essence is about balancing and cutting through the fattiness, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, this is some amazing food. Thank you again for having us here and sharing your stories.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
And I'm going to finish this food, and then we'll be back in a bit.
Want more Tales from the Pit? For extended content, in-depth coverage, and behind the scenes, get connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. Today we visited the SmoQue Pit, where we learned that barbecue brings about fellowship, and we learned a new way of cooking barbecue. I want to thank Shaney for letting us visit his restaurant in Statesboro, and thank you for watching us. We'll see you next time on Tales from the Pit.